Hello, welcome friends and family to another episode of Garden a Little, and today we are talking everything about seeds. I'm going to take you through what I do in my organization, and hopefully that makes sense to you. If you are a seed-loving gardener, I am sure this is going to be very helpful for you, or at least relatable. A garden journal that I very sparingly keep. Last entry was from 2022 in May. But this is great to keep track of when you started seeds. So for example, in 2021, I started my seeds March 6th. It is April 6th this year, 4 years later, and I am just now starting seeds. So we're gonna get to it. We're gonna organize and situate ourselves. To all my seed-loving gardeners, this is as organized as it gets, but I have very meaningful piles here. So I got my melons here, so cucumbers, loofahs, gourds, pumpkins, things like that, watermelons, things like that. Then I have my flowers here, tomatoes, peppers, beans, greenery, so including cauliflower, kale, lettuce, things like that. I got some berries here, and then okra is its own little thing, and then basil, which is like herbs, but I don't have many other herbs. I also have these Ziploc bags that came from my junk drawer in my kitchen. I have so much already that I don't know if I need to go through this. I probably should just to organize it, but they're all open and they're kind of getting out, so it's stressing me out right now. And then there was a pile of seeds laying in that same drawer. Definitely has some corn here, beans, radishes. This will be a fun little project for Agatha in like a little pot. Just put it all in there, fill it up with soil so she can watch it grow. Anyways, it is April 6th. This is growing zone 6A. It is time to start every seed except melons. So melons I'm gonna put away because these take like 4 weeks to germinate and just get out of control. So I don't want to do this, or beans. Beans and melons, I'll start them a little later. So I'm going to focus on peppers, tomatoes, and probably some flowers. And then if I have room, I will go with like lettuce, kale, things like that. Okay, before we get to actual planting, I do have to decide which peppers and which tomatoes I'm growing. I have just a few garden beds outside. I want to be organized, somewhat organized. So there's a few of tomato varieties that I've grown before, and it wasn't a hit for our family, so I'm not going to repeat that again. For example, this Bosque Blue tomato, they're good, they're very prolific, they're very pretty, but the taste is just very mild, very sweet, very not tomatoey, so I'm not going to grow this. Yellow pear, I think I overate it. I am okay not growing it. Black Beauty is kind of the same way. I know I'm like eliminating everything right off the bat here. Very sweet, very pretty. I might grow 1 or 2 of this just for that wow factor. I did like that, and I only have a few seeds left, and these are about 3 years old. No, these are 4 years old, so the germination may be, spotty. And then we have a couple of tomatoes that are very generic. I might be sowing a couple of these. Then I have rainbow cherry mixed tomato. I'm afraid to sow these because I've sown this before and I've had a bajillion tomatoes come up the next year. I'll put that as a maybe file. This is a little bit difficult for me because this has been given to me as a gift from all the way from across the seas. And I am very much so like I want to sow this in a little square thing, but this is a paper. Inside this paper are seeds. Last couple of times I sowed out of this collection, nothing germinated for me. So what I might do is literally cut this up in a square like so there'll be probably 20 or more seeds or so, and just plant it in the ground like this. Maybe I should soak it first. I don't know. Tell me if you had any experience with this type of planting, but it's different for me. Pink Tiger, absolutely will be sowing this. This is one of my favorite ones. So I have 2 different things. So this is what I collected from my tomatoes last year or the year before, and then this is brand new packet. I want to sow both of them and see how they do, just as a little experiment. Then we have this dwarf tomato. Never grown this. I just have a couple of seeds. Again, this is 4 years old, so I need to grow something or do something with these seeds. Stoller flare tomato, very pretty, as well as zebra tomatoes, very pretty. This is actually very mildly tasting tomato, same as this one. You would think that this is going to be more sour, more harder. No, the ripe tomato is green, so they look cool. So I might sow 1 or 2 of them, just the same as this right here, just like as a little wow factor. This blush tiger tomato is also one of our family favorites, so I will be sowing these as well. I'm thinking about my space right now. I don't want to overcrowd it. I have space for maybe 12 tomatoes. So let's just say this is 8 and 4 more out of these packets. Out of this, I want to get at least 12 healthy tomato plants. I know, I will get like 24, but at least healthy ones, 12. These are peppers and eggplants. I never got into eggplants, but I keep trying to grow them. The variety of eggplants that I do have on hand, they have spikes on them, and that like kills the joy of growing them. So I don't know if I'll grow them, and then I don't really eat them, so big maybe pile. Blood Hungarian, very cool, almost like same as that purple tomato. Very cool to look at, tasty, but nothing like extraordinary taste-wise. Then I got a couple of Bulgarian peppers. Then I have a hot pepper here. I've grown them last year. They produced 0 fruits, 0. So there's that. Pumpkin spice jalapenos produced a ton, but they were not spicy. They were not spicy for me. I don't know what was wrong with my seeds. They were very cool to look at, very pretty, but they were not spicy. It was just almost like me growing a tiny bell pepper. Same with these, honestly, mini bell mix. They were very prolific, very pretty, but I was not a fan. It was just, majority of it was just seeds in the middle. There was not a lot of flesh to eat. Here is another couple of these paper ones. So this is an eggplant. Again, I do want to use these up, so I'll do the same thing. I will sow this. And then this is a pepper, so I will sow this one too. This is a definite yes for me. This is our, you can see I bought 2. This is from 2025. This is from 2021. I absolutely love growing them. They are showstoppers and they are delicious. And then I have a couple of jalapeno seeds, so I saved some from my plants. And then I don't think actually I have anything in here because I think I sowed it all. No, I do. And then my friend Emmanuel from Florida sent me these. So I do like jalapenos, jalapeno poppers, things like that, pickled jalapenos. So I will be sowing jalapenos. Now a few more left here, so albino peppers. Again, these are definitely more of just like a conversation piece. They're very pretty to look at, very unique. The taste is the same as bell peppers, so I will be sowing a few of this. And then these seeds I just got. These are sweet banana peppers. I sowed them before and they produced like 1 or 2 peppers. They were very non-prolific, just poor germination altogether, and I think I have just a few seeds left, so I might just sow them just to get rid of them. Again, I'm thinking of my space in my garden, how I want to put it in there. It is very fun to start all these seeds, but I've done this mistake so many times. I have started so many seeds and then I ran out of space and then I crowded my garden and then it choked out the plants and it just didn't produce as much as it should have produced with all the fertilization and everything that I've done. So you don't want to disappoint yourself, right? Last but not least are flowers. So I got Indiana Giant. I really would love that to be as giant as this picture is. Coxcomb. Then I got a Black Swan Poppy. Looks really pretty. And then I have Celosia. Mix of different colors. I think it's really pretty. So I love growing food and beauty in the same place, so I definitely want to grow this. Now, these are seeds of my zinnias 2 years ago, all kinds of different ones, and I'm sure they cross-pollinated, so this is beautiful. So I will pick up a corner out of my garden, which I already planted some zinnias, but I will pick another corner out of my garden and just plant a bunch of these there, because if they grow into a beautiful, beautiful, vibrant forest. Hummingbirds love them, butterflies love them, bumblebees, bees, honeybees, wasps, all the pollinators are attracted to them. So I do not mind dedicating a corner of my garden for beautiful flowers. And then I sprinkle these throughout the garden, just like here and there for a pop of color. Another thing that I'm like still processing and thinking about is okra. So I don't know if I'll grow okra. Okra takes up a lot of space, and I don't eat it very much just because of its texture. I know it's good for you. Probably would be good to grow because in September I'm due with a second baby, and they say that eating and drinking okra water is supposed to help you and your birth or whatever. Anyways, let's get to the most interesting part. Another thing that I'm excited about is I'm trying out these new trays. They're very sturdy. So I got this, got the bottom watering here. I want to fill these up with soil, and this year is the first year where I invested in actually really good soil. It was not cheap, but good soil to start your seeds is pretty important. Happy frog soil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up here. So in each one of these, I got 40 cells to fill. Now it might seem like, so I have 80 together. It might seem like so little, but think about it. When you start these, they will grow, and this is not where they grow the whole time. Then you have to up-pot them, and you have to give them more growing space. So 80 cells, 80 different plants, that is enough for my whole garden to be filled. So I'm not filling every single one of them because then I also need to fill them with melons and things like that. So I'm gonna focus on one with my tomatoes and peppers. Let's start off with my peppers here. The best and smartest thing that you can do for yourself is label. So I'm gonna sweet. Oh, this is great. Banana. Can you read that? Yeah. Amazing marker. Let's see if I can trim it. Oh, look at that. Sweet banana. A little better, right? So let's put that here. So I only want, how many sweet bananas? We're gonna try for one sweet banana. So then I also wanna do black Hungarian. I wanna do 2 of them. All right, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. Okay, I got all of my peppers, tomatoes, and I have 2 more rows so 10 more spots for flowers. So I will do a couple of flowers. Okay, this is actually very cool to look at because this is so organized and very concise, very straight to the point. It looks super tiny, but let me tell you, it's gonna be mighty in just a few weeks. This soil was already sort of moist in the bag, so I'm not going to pre-moisten it anymore. What I am going to do is, this came with some small little tools, and I'm going to just poke little holes where I'm going to plant my seeds. And in each pod, I'm going to put anywhere from 2 to 3 seeds, especially in the spots where I'm using old seeds. Okay, so it's gonna be super straightforward. Most of my packets are already open. I'm gonna put 2 to 3 seeds. These sweet bananas, since they're like 5 years old, I'm gonna put like 5 seeds in my hand. Put a little hole here and dump these seeds right in there. Cover them up. Boom, just like that.
Here's where my microphone died, but I was showing you that underneath there's a tray, and I'm going to fill it up with water, quite a bit of it, and I'm going to put all the seedlings in the water. This way the water wicks up from bottom up to all of the seedlings, and you would think that the water will spill out, but it does not. So you just slowly lower it down, and the soil just drinks up the water, and it does not displace any of the seedlings that you sowed prior. So I love this way of watering seedlings. Here I'm showing you my growing station. It's a little bit of a mess, but I am ready to get it organized and let it set up. Here are these grow lights. I got them off of Amazon. These are shop lights. One of my favorite ones because they're super adjustable as far as how low or how high you want to hang them up. So I am going to hang up 2 of them here. This is a mechanical timer I got off of Amazon. I plug my lights into here. This is great to have because you can have your growing station going without worrying when your lights are on or off. These hash marks, you press them down when you want the lights to stay on, and you pick them up when you want the lights to turn off. I usually set them for about 12 hours to stay on, 12 hours to be off, just like regular daylight. Here you can see that the water is already wicking through. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Go garden a little.